Hello everyone, my name is Sherry Johnston and I wanted to share some information with you concerning your sinus infections or the flu or maybe even the coronavirus. I went to Florida back in November, the 1st of November, and stayed 4 or 5 days. And with the weather change and stuff, being from hot to cold and raining and all this stuff, I'm staying at my daughter's house. I'm getting my house built, and when I went to her house, and that night I went into her medicine cabinet to see if I could find something that would help me with this flu-like symptom I had, and my head being stopped up, and I was coughing really bad. So I was looking through her medicine cabinet, and I come across this in her medicine cabinet. It's called Thieves Essential Living Thieves Mouthwash. And I turned around and was looking at the ingredients on there, and I realized that it had thieves. And if you take thieves oil and you rub it on your chest or your neck, it gets real warm. So, and one reason why it works so well, because it warms it up and it soaks into your skin, and it really makes you feel good. And it helps you to quit coughing. So I thought about this, and I looked, and it didn't have any alcohol in it. So I thought I'd come up with this bright idea that I would take this thieves oil, and this particular one, my daughter buys Essential Living. This, like I said, this was Thieves Mouth Wash. So what I did was, I'm a big believer in nebulizing when you're sick. This is done a lot because people, especially babies when they're really young and they couldn't give them shots and stuff, they would put their medicine in their nebulizer, and they would nebulize this little baby, and it would put the medicine into the lungs, and it would deliver it like an IV treatment. So I got to thinking about this Thieves mouthwash, and I said, well, you know, if I take this Thieves mouthwash and I put it in a nebulizer, I could nebulize, and it would clean out my sinuses, and it would also clean out my eyes and ears and nose and throat and get down in my lungs. And if with the idea that thieves would get into my blood system, and instead of trying to take this by mouth and going through my digestive system, it'd be like giving myself a blood treatment. So I thought if I had any kind of infection or anything, it would just wipe it out. And a little history about this thieves is back in Old Testament days, when people would die from the plague, there'd be these thousands and thousands and thousands of people would die. They had grave robbers, what they call grave robbers, and they would go and take a rag, maybe a big scarf or something like this, and they would take thieves oil, and they'd pour this thieves oil all over it and rub it in together, and they'd take it and put it over their face, and they would go inside these dead graves and stuff, and they would steal all the jewelry and all the gold off these dead bodies. And they would come back out and get through. They wouldn't get sick, because that thieves oil would kill all the infection of the plague or whatever they had. So I thought, man, I'm going to try that on my nebulizer. So I went and dug out my nebulizer, and I just went on the internet and just bought a cheapo nebulizer. And they come with a mouthpiece, or you can order them with a little mask. So I preferred the mask, because when you put it on your face like this, and you breathe in through your nostrils, you're going to be cleaning all this stuff up out of your head and your eyes, and ears, nose, and throat. So what I did was, I took this thieves oil, or this mouthwash, I took it, and I took my little nebulizer apart, and inside is this little thing right here. It makes it fizzle-like, and it makes a mist, and when you breathe it in, you breathe it in air particles with this Thieves mouthwash on it. So I just took and just poured a little bit in there, see, just enough, maybe a good spoonful, maybe a teaspoon and a half, maybe 2 teaspoons. And I did that, and I put my lid back on, Make sure it was tight, and I just reached over and turned my nebulizer on, and I walked into it because I didn't know if this was going to burn or take my breath or anything. So what I did was I turned it on, and when it started making the little mist that comes out, I just took it and kind of got a little whiff of it with the idea that I wouldn't get a whole bunch, because if I couldn't handle it, I knew it wouldn't do me any harm because it's thieves. So that was what I did. Then I ended up giving myself this treatment. Then immediately when I was giving this treatment, I started coughing somewhat. And then I really started sneezing a whole bunch. And then when I did that, my nose just ran like crazy. And my aches and pains went away almost immediately. It was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe that it's taking a nebulizing treatment for 10 minutes. And when I got through, I didn't hurt. The cough lasted probably a month or so. I gave myself probably, I would say, 10 treatments, and after that I was fine. The coughing went away and I felt good. But one thing that Thieves Oil would do, this little cup right here, when you get through using it, be sure and clean it out immediately, because if you leave any of this sitting in there, it would get into the pores of this old plastic, and it would stain it and make it look milky looking, and it just makes it look dirty. You can wash it out and everything, but it still looks dirty, and you can still reuse it. But the ideal is if you just clean it out as soon as you get through, you won't have this old mark that it would make. And if you don't change it, it would turn milky looking like this. Instead of being real pretty and clear, it would be milky looking. So I don't know if you can see that. So anyway, I'm going to turn this on and I'll show you what I did. If you look, you see the steam coming out. So what I did was this. Just breathe it. Then I realized I could breathe it and handle it, and it wasn't no big deal, so I just took her and moved. And I did that until all this was gone, and I'll rinse it out real good, and then you're done. And if you try that and you like it, share it with someone else so they can feel good about doing this. And I've also I've taken this mask and hold it away from my face like this. And when the mist comes up, I let it get in my eyes and stuff. And when my eyes are tired, or I've been working real hard, or been around a bunch of dirt and stuff, it just feels good. And I've also done it with Epsom salt water, where I make me a salt solution that's kind of mild, and I put it in that nebulizer, and I do the same thing. I would breathe it through my nose and stuff, and Epsom salt is nothing more than magnesium, and it just cleans out your sinuses. It gets down in that lungs, and it breaks up that old hard phlegm that gets in your lungs that you can't spit up. And the next thing you know, you're spitting up this awful garbage junk that comes out of your lungs. It's just unbelievable what's in your lungs. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And if y'all try it and see if you like it, and if you do, I'm going to post this on YouTube. Just give me a little howdy-doody. Let me know how your results turned out. Thanks. Bye.